So I think the easiest way to illustrate the distributive property is with the area model. So illustration of the distributive property. And we call it the distributive property, but it turns out there's a whole bunch of other distributive properties. Maybe I'll show a couple of those in a minute. But when we say the distributive property, we mean multiplication over addition. So for example, like suppose I had 5 times 3 plus 4. And we have this distributive property that says that's the same as 5 times 3 and 5 times 4, that these both have the same answer. And we can definitely use arithmetic to show it, but an illustration means draw a picture. But just the arithmetic for fun, arithmetic here would be order of operations says 3 plus 4 is 7. And then I can multiply that by the 5 and get 35. Whereas on the other side, question mark, I have 5 times 3 is 15, and I have 5 times 4, which is 20, which is another way to get 35 from the same set of numbers. Okay, so the distributive property gives us a way to violate the order of operations, but still get the right answer. And so anytime you can violate the order of operations in a standard way, that's called a property of some kind. Okay, so next, the area model, I think, is the best illustration. And the area model means you must have a length and a width, or a base and a height. Or you could call it length times width. And so usually I make the single number the height, but it really doesn't matter. So I'll draw it both ways for fun. So I would mark off 5 high, and then to the best of my ability, try and do, if that's 5, what would 3 look like? Maybe that's 3 right there, and then 4 is going to be just a little longer than that. So that's my base, the best straight line I can draw at the moment. And so this is my area here, and then I have this division in between for the 3 plus the 4. And the key about this right here is 3 plus 4 is 7, right? So I could say this whole top right here is 7 wide, and 5 times 7 is 35. But I also can break this into 2 different rooms. Let's use red. This room is 3 wide by 5 tall. And this room over here is 4 wide by 5 tall. And so I could also view it as the 15 plus the 20 to get 35. And the bottom line is, it doesn't matter whether I view this as one room that's 7 across, or I have 3 across and 4 across, it's always 5 high. And that's the distributive model. And if I listed it the other way, it doesn't matter, it's just the widths are the same. So the alternative version of this would be to have the 4 and the 3 vertically, and then the 5 out that way. And I probably should maybe measure this out a little better. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my 4 high, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really like working with graph paper because sometimes I'm not very neat without it. Things are messy and require lots of editing for me. And then I can draw in that division right here. And I can view this as 3 plus 4. And there's my 5 over there. And then I have the whole thing as 7 tall. And so either I can view this as 5 times 7, or I can view it as 5 times 3 and 5 times 4. So that shows me 35 is the same as 15 plus 20. So a couple ways you can illustrate that out. Good question. All right, got enough time for about one more question. miss anything in the chat? Let's see.